Hey guys, it's Squall, and this is part 32 of Everlasting Summer. I don't know if you can see that on screen, but apparently a Java update is available. Thanks for, I actually hadn't remembered since the last time you told me like 15 seconds ago. Sorry, I'm arguing with my computer now. Now during this part, I think I went to the clubhouse, didn't I? Because I wanted to find out more about Shirk, but it ended up being something about, what was it? Uliana wanting some tape or something? So maybe we should go check out what's going on over here. Did we ever go to the infirmary or the kitchen? What the fudge. Let's try the infirmary. Oh no, wait. We have. Cause I remember this line, this dialogue. I always take good care of my health. Okay, let's try the dining hall. Oh, and by the way, I should probably mention the reason that I skip the part right before this is because, as you guys have probably heard if you keep up with YouTube news, the algorithm or whatever system that YouTube uses nowadays, it's been a little wonky, and it's been censoring, demonetizing, flagging, even sometimes straight up taking down videos. Obviously, I'm not partnered. I'm not going to be partnered anytime soon, so I don't have to worry about demonetization. But I know that the way it works is that it uses a system that recognizes the words you use in the video. Certain words get flagged. The system sees these words, quote unquote sees, and it's like, okay, this is not okay. We're taking away your monetization, or we're gonna be censoring this, or we're gonna be just straight up taking this video down. I really don't want to get in trouble this early into my YouTube hobby, I guess you could call it. Because I obviously have nobody to back me up on whatever. The reason I skipped that is because I just want to learn more about how the YouTube system is working right now so I don't get myself into trouble. But you guys pretty much know what was going on. I think Alisa and Uliana were in the showers because they had just pulled off another prank and they were covered in red paint or something. And yeah, Semyon was being a creep. Uliana pointed him out. Alisa got mad, chased him over to the forest, which I guess is over here, and that's where he is right now. But obviously if you're watching this, then chances are you know what happens, and I am so sorry that I've been rambling. I hope I got my point across about the whole YouTube thing. But anyway, kitchen dining hall. I always took good care of my health, and even better care at the moments when I couldn't bear it anymore. And now I was able to walk and my feet weren't even hurting much. So my feet will heal up eventually, while hunger drives the wolf from the wood. Surely the pioneers didn't finish up everything. At least a couple of sausages, eggs, or in the worst case a few pieces of bread should be left. It was so deserted and quiet around the canteen that I even hesitated for a second. Isn't it here where every pioneer seeks his happiness 3 times a day, and some even more often? Isn't it an oasis of this heated summer desert? Isn't it a secret chemical lab studying how types of meals unknown to science affect immature teenage bodies? I'm not entirely sure I got all of that, but yeah, sure, why not? Now this building looked more like a bastion abandoned by its defenders. I kind of La Rochelle, left by these dudes, the Huguenots. Why not? No idea what that is, no idea how to pronounce it, but it was left by them, yeah. Just got in and the ghosts of warriors who accepted a heroic death here will surround you. Homeboy, I think you're being just a bit overdramatic. The canteen looked the way it always did, though. It was just completely empty except for Miku, who was cleaning a table. Saying that I quickly turned around and tried to sneakily escape, but didn't manage to make it. Hi, Semyon, did you come here to eat? You missed breakfast, didn't you? I mean, I didn't see you. You could have been there, but I didn't see you. It's good that you came anyway. You know, when I do her route, I am gonna have to change that voice because you guys are gonna be so annoyed at hearing me talk like that for such a long time. But for right now, it's okay. I hope. Hi. Well, yes, I just came wondering if there's anything left, maybe. There's nothing left. You need to wait for lunch. You won't help me, by the way? I'm cleaning up here. What for? What do you mean? She puffed up her lips and seemed offended. Oh. Somebody has to clean up. We do it in turns. You will have your turn as well. Thanks, but no. Okay, got it. I was going to leave, but Miku still couldn't stop. So will you help me? You know, when I do your route, I'll go ahead and help you. For right now, sorry. Okay, fine. It looks like I've upset Miku. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, they should have baked the cookie a little bit better. Leaving the canteen, I sat on the bench standing by the door and sighed tiredly. My feet were still hurting a bit, although not as bad as before. There was still nothing in my stomach. There was quite a bit of time until lunch, so I decided to go for a walk. Give me a second, I need to catch my breath because for some reason I'm out. Okay, there we are. I picked a random direction which could be explained by the single word, forward, onto dawn. In the end, I found myself at the square. This wasn't a surprise as the monument of Genda appeared to be the central hub of this camp and a kind of kilometer zero. So you know what I was thinking of doing someday? Back over at the new Squall Line channel, where I'm gonna be doing the Minecraft videos. I have the survival series that's gonna be going up, the dinosaur one, but I also want to do a creative series where I just build stuff and play chill music over it, because why not? And one of the things that I want to build is the Pioneer Camp, because you know this place has grown on me. I have a lot of affection for it now, so yeah, that'll be cool. This wasn't a surprise as the monument of Genda appeared. Oh, right. Sorry. I sat on the bench and started to think. 4 days have passed and I haven't gotten even an inch closer to working out how I got here. It's been a lot longer than that, actually. It's true that quite a few strange things here. Wow. It's true that quite a few strange things happened during this time, but almost every one of them can be explained logically after careful thinking. Every single one of them could have happened in normal life. Normal life. This term lost its original meaning to me here. Reactions to the environment, the actions and words of other people, or my own words. Indeed, none of this here is normal. In the past 4 days, my worldview had taken a series of painful punches to the stomach and uppercuts which led to it being, if not knocked out, then seriously knocked down. Sometimes I don't understand why I act one way or the other or say some things. Actually, I do understand, but not straight away. Such afterthoughts, however, don't help me to act differently, more sanely and appropriate to the situation at all. Moments of truth happening to me are becoming more and more rare. If my only wish during the first day was getting out of here, then now my main concerns are where to find food, how to avoid lineup in the morning, and what to say to Olga Dmitrievna if Alisa complains about me. And those things are truly important to me. And day after day, daily fuss like this overshadows the thoughts in my head about how The world around me, together with this camp and these girls, are completely abnormal. But I can't do anything about myself, because I just forget. In the same way we breathe without thinking about it, I'm joining in the everyday life of the local inhabitants more and more without realizing it. Steadily becoming an average pioneer. No, this is wrong. I shouted loud and slapped my face a few times. I really hate you. All of a sudden the bell sounded, calling the pioneers for lunch. All of a sudden the bell sound, calling the pioneers for lunch, came from the loudspeakers. Finally. I ran skipping along to the canteen, leaving my inspiring thoughts back at the square where they could sound interesting to Genda alone, and only if he was alive. The day had just started and I've gone through so many things already. But I did it and now have legitimate grounds to fill myself up. Okay, so, I was looking up, pictures of everlasting summer on different social media sites just to see what other people had in their collection, possession, whatever. And apparently, what is going on back here? What is this? Never mind this dude. What is this guy? Why is Potato Man here at the canteen? I don't understand. I don't understand. So, you guys know that I try to go for the bad ending first and then the good ending. So, I think, knowing her personality, the wrong thing to do here is trying to snatch the book out of her hand. My curiosity won. I struck at the right moment when Alisa was looking away from me and snatched the book. Ouch! She screamed. In the following second, her face took on such an expression that it made me question my decision. If I'm about to die, at least I will know what for. I held a copy of Gone with the Wind in my hands. That was the same book that Lena was reading that evening on the bench. I was so astonished that I completely forgot about my imminent death. Is it interesting? Yeah? Alisa answered without any enthusiasm, blushing. Okay then. I handed the book back to her. Alisa threw it on the table and left the library quickly without looking at me. So human things aren't alien to her. In the end, she too is a girl. After a quick review of everything that just happened, I concluded that there was actually nothing that strange. This is going to be so interesting now that we're seeking another girl. But here we go. Only Lena and Alisa stood out among all this splendor. Of course, it's quite natural for Alisa to be arguing with someone like that. But hearing Lena talk in a raised voice, I came closer silently, trying to understand what was going on. No, you listen to me. Think whatever you want. I've said everything. It looks serious. I tried as hard as I could to not attract any attention and look like I'm just standing there with no intention of listening in on them. There's nothing to think about. Everything is as clear as day. Don't try to wind me around your little finger like that. I know you too well. Why, of course you know everything. Then why wouldn't you tell him yourself? Lena was getting angry. That alone was really weird, even considering that I didn't know what they were arguing about. That's none of your business. Alisa snorted, turned around, and her eyes met mine. Second later, Lena gave me a look as well. The girl stood there in confusion for some time. You're eavesdropping? Me? Oh, no. I was just passing by. I put on the best smile I had, but it didn't seem to help much. By the way, today he was peeping at me. Alisa gave a malicious smile. Lena looked at me questioningly. First of all, why would she believe this devious fox's stories? I didn't peep. You know quite well that it was an accident. Uliana should be the one to blame. Sure it was. Tell that to the cops. It seems like my excuse was not working. Well, you're a confident girl, it must be said. Did you like my, what word could I use that YouTube wouldn't get mad at me for? Well, you guys can read it. A shiver ran up my spine. Is that true? Lena looked at me imploringly. Well, you see, it was an accident. I didn't see anything there. You didn't? Well, I can show you again. Alisa cried in anger. I didn't know what to say. You see? Told you. No. Lena started to mumble and rushed away a moment later. Wait, what happened? I shouted after her. See what you did? That girl's upset now. She gave a spiteful smile. First of all, it wasn't me who upset her. Second, I don't have any idea what you two were arguing about. I was running out of patience. Why should I tell you? It seems like she thought that our talk was over and was about to leave. I grabbed her hand abruptly. Alisa glanced at me in fear but didn't say anything. I was angry at that moment. Really angry. First, I was wildly enraged that Lena was upset because of me, even though I was actually kind of guilty. Second, I was enraged by Alisa's insolence. Third, I was so tired that I was about to lose my temper at the smallest thing. Happy now? I hissed, pointed into the darkness where Lena had run off. You only seem to have the guts to bomb memorials and hurt innocent girls. She looked frightened, saddened, and confused at the same time. She herself could hurt anyone. You just don't know her. The only truth here is that I don't know her too well, but I'm absolutely positive that she wouldn't hurt anyone. That's your job. We stood in silence for some time. I held Alisa's hand and didn't know what to do next. The solution dawned upon me all by itself. You have to go and apologize. Why the hell should I? Alisa tried to act as arrogant as always, but it wasn't going to work this time. 'Cause I said so. I refused to hear any objections and dragged her to the side of the bonfire. Olga Dmitrievna, I'm sorry. We have some urgent business to deal with, so we have to leave early. The guidance officer tried to object, but I didn't listen and headed after Lena, pulling Alisa along with me. After some time, I released her hand. Any objections? All the pride and arrogance had left Alisa's face long ago. If you want me to come with you, I will, but I have nothing to apologize for. Told her the truth. We'll see about that then. I cut her short. We had been walking in silence until we entered the camp. Does this shaking mean that she's hella scared? We came to the square and I asked Alisa, Where do we go next? How should I know? And who said that they know Lena well? Was it me? Alisa hesitated. Well, she could be at the island. She often goes there when she wants to be alone. Excellent. We headed to the pier. Night came down on the camp while I searched for paddles and parted around with the ropes. One boat was actually missing. Okay, today is your lucky day. You get to do several killer exercises that will build up your biceps, triceps, and other arm muscles, I said sarcastically. Are you serious? Alisa cast a fearful glance at me. Well, perhaps that was a little too rough, even for her. Alright, I won't make you row, of course. That hardly sounded confident. Swinging the paddles appeared to be much harder this time. Well, that's not surprising, considering that today I must have already filled my annual rowing quota. I stopped in the middle of the river to catch my breath. The camp was covered by night. A trivial and ordinary night. It was one of those nights when the dark sky, stars and crescent moon don't make you feel anything special, and chirping crickets and twittering birds sound like they are doing a dull routine job, rather than performing an otherwise exciting nocturne. I was staring into the darkness, trying to make out the shadowy island. How did you get to know her? Alisa shivered a little. We grew up together. Whoa. That's interesting, she answered slowly after some hesitation. And ended up at the same pioneer camp. What a fabulous coincidence. All these questions, mysteries, and fears that have been so well hidden so far suddenly spawned in my head. Damn, I could just throw her out of the boat and drown her right here and now. I can demand answers, although it could be dangerous unless I'm sure that I know what I'm doing. But still, I thought... Was that like the evil Semyon just like starting to form in his brain? Just a tiny little bit? Like he's not gonna go all the way, but you can see that that bad side is like deep in there somewhere. But still, I thought that this time I was playing with the white pieces so I could make the first move and not just parry the blows of the opponent. So what kind of camp is this? Alisa stared at me blankly. Where are we? Why am I here? She kept silent. Answer me! I shouted. Hey, what's wrong with you? If you want me to apologize to Lena, I will. That's when I realized how stupid I was acting, to say the least. She could simply be unevolved in all that stuff. And what's more, one can't lie that convincingly. Alisa's fearful expression was yet another reason to believe her. Sorry. That was all I was able to say at the moment. Yet I wanted to keep my advantage. The last few meters were really tough. Exhausted, I got out of the boat and lay on the cold ground. Alisa stood nearby, staring at me. I thought she was able to goad me or utter some barbed witticism. I thought she was about to goad me or utter some barbed witticism, but since she remained silent, I assumed she was still shocked or something. Even though it was rather dark here, it would be easier to hide in my old flat than on this tiny island. Furthermore, Lena must have already heard us as we were crossing the river. So by now it's already too late to ask Alisa any more questions, even though I still had some. Listen. I looked at her but saw nothing. It was a dark night, and I didn't have cat's eyes. Well, when we find Lena, you're gonna tell her you never wanted to hurt her feelings, and everything that happened in the morning was nothing but a misunderstanding, okay? My voice didn't sound as confident as it did a couple of minutes ago, but confident enough. Although Alisa said nothing, it was clear by the look on her face that she agreed. I stood up and we went off to find Lena. Her boat was tied to a snag on the far side of the island. It's very clever of her. One wouldn't see the boat from afar, I mumbled. Well, that means she's somewhere in the trees. Let's find her. I headed into the grove, but Alisa stood still. What's up? I thought we discussed everything already. It's not that. It's just that. It's dark in there. I had to strain my eyes to make out her face. The grove is smaller than my grandmother's daisy garden. What is there to be afraid of? One of two things. Alisa has a bit of PTSD from the previous episode and everything that happened. Or she is genuinely afraid of Lena. What if she wasn't lying when she told us that Lena is capable of hurting anyone? I mean, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense. The first two series, the original read-through and then the Redemption Saga, I talked a lot about how her mood could shift in the snap of a finger. Is that a correct term? I don't know. She would get hella pissed out of nowhere in the first read-through. She would snap at Semyon. She can be dangerous, can't she? Is that where this story is heading to? The big reveal that there's even more to Lena than I thought? Like at first I thought she was just a shy girl, and then I thought she was someone with bipolar depression. Then I thought that in the end, well, she's really just a sweetheart that needed someone to love her. And now we're gonna possibly reveal that there's even more to the girl? Is that where this is heading? I mean, let's see. Alisa didn't answer. If you want to know what I'm thinking, I would gladly just leave you here. I never know what trick you're up to. Well, she came very close to me. Let's go like this. She took my hand. Okay, let's look at this. It's pretty cool. Damn. See, you've probably seen by now that I'm trying out a new thumbnail style where I do like a circle here and put the name here, Everlasting Summer, and the episode that we're on over here. But if I do that here, it's gonna cover up. I'll think of something. But, you know, it looks lovely. It looks lovely like all the other artwork in this game. I hadn't expected this outcome. My cheeks turned red and hot, my breath was taken away, and I could barely say anything. The whole situation didn't favor conversation, which was probably for the best, since I doubt I would be able to say anything smart. Slowly, we headed into the grove. In a couple of moments, I regained some control of myself. Come on, there is really nothing to be afraid of. We came here during the day gathering some strawberries, no big deal, just a normal birch grove. It's really nice here during the day, I added after a short pause. Alisa didn't look at me. She was staring somewhere into the distance. Well, it's up to you after all. A few moments later, she pointed somewhere in front of us. There she is. I peered into darkness but could barely see anything. Aww. Why did they have to play her theme? You know, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Alisa has completely won me over in this read-through. I absolutely hated her guts starting this, but I think she's the most like awesome girl ever now. This girl, however, Lena, still has my heart. This is still my home girl. And you cannot do this to me, game. You can't like just show her crying and then play her music in the background, which I found out is called Let's Be Friends, which is the sweetest thing ever. Damn it. When we came closer, we saw Lena sitting beside a tree. She was crying. Why have you come here? She asked tearfully. And you? She looked at Alisa but didn't finish the sentence. That moment, Alisa released my hand. Well, you see, I just wanted to apologize for being someone harsh and rude. Alisa interrupted me. Her voice had regained that usual arrogance of hers. Maybe it's because she didn't want to look weak in front of Lena. What a perfect apology. Not walking the walk, are you? How clever of you to insist that I'm doing a bad thing, then do that same thing yourself. Lena switched to shouting uncontrollably. You got it all wrong. I think that was the wrong voice, but yeah. I get what I've seen. You see, girls, you're arguing again and I seem to be somehow involved in all that, but I don't understand a thing. Explain it to him, Lena said to Alisa with a grin. There's nothing to explain. Well, maybe you will let me have a try then? Whatever. She crossed her arms over her chest and turned away. Well then, Semyon? She blamed me for pursuing you. For a minute there was complete silence. Lena didn't look like explaining any further. And as for me, I stood still trying to assemble the scattered pieces of the puzzle into a whole. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. It's not like that. That's not what I meant. Interrupted Alisa. Of course. You've always been like this. Lena burst into tears again. Wait, how come? So Lena likes me? And you? What about you? You're trying to convince me that it's all wrong while you're holding his hand? What, so Alisa likes me too? Oh come on, Alisa actually liking someone? This can't be happening. It's just that it was dark in here and that's so much like you. Always so arrogant, always trying to control others. But when it comes to yourself? Alisa didn't answer. I really felt like I had to say something to defuse the situation. Hey, wait. Perhaps we just got it all wrong. This has nothing to do with you. Alisa's voice was oddly distant. Judging by the conversation, this has everything to do with me. Yes, it does. Ask her what she thinks of you. Why she told me not to go after you. I don't think Lena was actually going after me. I'm telling you, once again, I We heard enough of your story already. Lena shot up and ran away into the darkness. I stood nailed to the spot, not sure what to do next. If I followed Lena now, what would I say when I found her? After all, I don't even understand what this is all about. My cluelessness and silly attempts to console her would only upset her more. I guess we'd better let her be alone for some time. That didn't sound very confident. Whatever. Without another word, Alisa headed back to the boat. The whole way across the river to the pier was one hell of a trip. I had to stop every 10 or 20 meters to take a break. Alisa was staring at the river and didn't pay any attention to me. Well, this seems to be the first situation here in the camp that is completely beyond my comprehension. Even though ultimately it is just a trivial everyday situation. I wasn't as confused even during the all-night expedition to the old camp. After all, if you have a closer look, there isn't anything strange here at all. Lena is a very shy and perhaps even introverted person, yet she's human and can't completely avoid normal human developments. Considering that, her reaction fits the situation quite well. Even if I don't get the source of the quarrel, it's as clear as day that the girls would not behave like that if they didn't have a good reason. And as things were standing, I was that reason. And that's the strangest part of this whole situation. Hey, I'm sorry it went that way. If only I hadn't overheard your conversation. Seems like I was feeling a pathological need to excuse myself. It's not your fault at all, she said absent-mindedly. Just that you appeared in the right place at the right time and restarted a mechanism that had stood still for a long time. I don't quite get it. Of course you don't. And actually you shouldn't right now. You'll get it later. She cast an intense glance at me. Damn it! Why does this always happen to me? Both at school and college, trouble seems to have chosen me as its primary target. Someone blocked the classroom's door with a mop. I got a written reprimand in my mark book. There was a fight. All things considered, I must have started it. Failed an exam, well of course that's my fault, and the teacher who hates me has nothing to do with it. Even my parents always seem to prefer blaming me rather than unfavorable circumstances, a third party's involvement, or the decrees of Providence. At some point I even started to believe that I somehow do attract trouble. Remember Murphy's Law? In my case, it was like, if something nasty is gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. For that reason, I always tried to stay out of any trouble where I could become the whipping boy. Well, judging by today, I'm not really good at it. Seems like you've got an aura of some sort. You do attract attention. Surprised, I looked at Alisa. She was smiling. Looks like she can read my mind. Trouble, mostly. Who knows? Who knows? She said dreamily and stared at the river. It's a wonderful night, isn't it? Just like any other one, if you ask me. I felt used up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just an ordinary night. Nothing special. The best moment to make our most admirable camp leader really happy. She has to know that her favorite pioneer is a nasty pervert who enjoys peeking at naked girls. Something snapped inside of me again. You aren't serious, are you? Why, course I'm serious. She didn't look like she was joking at all. Well, suit yourself, but do you really think this is the best time to do that? Aren't you supposed to row? I realized that our boat was still drifting in the river. Wait! Don't dodge my question! Let's get back to the camp. I'll have a moment to think it over. Getting to spend an entire night in a boat wasn't something I would aspire to, so I had to apply myself to the paddles. We barely made it to the pier. I was exhausted, both because of the rowing and because of Alisa's intent to tell Olga Dmitrievna about this morning's incident. If I know our camp leader, her reaction will be quite predictable. So, you're actually going to visit Olga Dmitrievna now, are you? Why not? She gave me her most roguish smile. It's night after all. She must be sleeping already. Who knows? She might well be awake. Come on. You know full well it was a coincidence, a simple misunderstanding triggered by Uliana. No, I don't. She flung her arms up and headed to the camp. I gathered all my remaining strength, jumped up and followed her. At first I considered grabbing her arms, but then realized it might not be such a good idea after everything that had happened today. Hold on! I trudged unenergetically along next to her. Let's talk this over. Is there anything to discuss? We silently walked alongside each other for some time. At least she walked slowly so that I had no trouble keeping pace with her, and I was thankful for it. Hey, is there anything I can do to convince you to not tell Olga Dmitrievna? Not sure, but, well, there's one thing. We came to the square. So what is it? Well, stop chasing Lena, for instance. For goodness sake, what makes you think I'm chasing Lena? We started to lose my temper. Why are you making up such nonsense? You started that quarrel in the forest. Because of you we had to go to that island, and here we go again. Enough is enough. I am not chasing her. Whoa. What? Right here. Alisa stood still, bright moonshine lighting up her face, which showed evident signs of resentment and displeasure. Like I don't see how you look at her. How do I look at her? Like that. Like what? You know? She shifted her gaze but remained standing still. Hey, stop seeing everyone through your twisted imagination. If you can't stop making up nonsense stories, then at least keep them to yourself. Don't make others suffer because of you and your stories. I don't care if you pick on me, but now you get Lena involved. I really lost my temper for good, but Alisa didn't answer. We sank into an unexpected silence that was only broken by Alisa's sparse sobs. From bad to worse, now you are crying. Have you all gone mad here? I clasped my hand in despair. I could understand why Lena was crying, but seeing Alisa crying is unthinkable to say the least. I can't even see her reasoning. At any other time I would definitely be shocked, but at this moment I'm just too tired for that. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full so that not even a single idea would have the chance to dwell there. If I would compare my brain at... I have skipped this 2 times, I will skip it again. Alisa kept silent. At least she stopped crying. If you really think it's so serious, go ahead and tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna. I hope it makes you feel better. Okay, I won't do it, she said quietly and turned to me. The tears were all gone, but her face seemed to express absolute sorrow at the world. Just feeling hurt. What hurt you? I asked her tiredly. It's always like that. She gets all the attention and always pushes me aside. I had difficulty understanding what she was talking about and decided to play along. Hopefully she'd finally leave me alone. That's not true. You do draw attention and people don't overlook you. I don't. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Her facial expression was a mixture of amazement and expectation. See? Could you... All of a sudden her voice became so tender that I flinched in astonishment. Alisa's face turned red and she hid her eyes. So, you really think that I'm as good as her? I wanted to say something like even better, but I stopped myself. Yes, I do. It seems she didn't understand that I said it all absolutely and sincerely. Alright, time to sleep. Alisa suddenly yelled cheerfully. Now she was acting more like herself again. See you tomorrow. She waved her hand and ran away. I sighed in relief. Well, it was over for today. All my remaining energy was wasted on a sprint to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. There was no light, so trying not to awake the camp leader, I undressed quietly and lay down. It's still interesting, what did Alisa mean? And Lena? It's become totally unclear what is going on with them and with me, as if we got sucked into some sort of vortex which started to swirl with furious power. But what's going to happen next? And where will I be thrown then? Man, I'm tired. I wonder what it sounds like from this distance. I woke up early, when Olga Dmitrievna was still asleep. I stretched and sat up in the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Quietly, so as not to wake the camp leader, I took the bag with my washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. The camp was asleep. The grass was shaking off the night dew, a light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops, not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent lamp in the house across from mine. I took a deep breath of the tasty cold air and thought that even a night owl like me can enjoy waking up this early sometimes. The streets of the camp were empty, of course. The water here has always been cold, but today it seems like they got it from the Antarctic depths. Even my hands went numb from it. Finishing with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. Olga Dmitrievna is asleep. Breakfast not for a while yet, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Genda. That guy doesn't care if it's day or night. He's alert. I smiled at my successful joke and headed to the boat shed. As I walked, I hummed some song, absolutely sure I was the only one awake here. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet in the water. Alisa. I came closer and stopped, not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me. Been standing here long? No. Why aren't you asleep? Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't sleep. I see. About yesterday. You get everything, right? What exactly? Oh, for goodness sake. My answer didn't seem to go down well. Right, I did. I lied. Alright, good. She suddenly looked straight in the eye and smiled. In that case, I have plans for you tonight. Huh? May I ask what they are? You don't need to know. Well, since I'm a part of them, you'll know when it's time. Can you give me a hint at least? Nope. She got up and walked towards me. A bit scared, I cleared the way. Don't do anything stupid, Alisa said, moving away from the boat shed. I wonder what she meant. And what are those plans? I had no wish to become a part of some terrorist act against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. She's probably still angry. And I never managed to explain everything to her. Although I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that had happened, but I couldn't figure out what exactly I was guilty of. The camp was starting to wake up. Breakfast was at least an hour away, but I had no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one there for once. I sat on the steps and watched the sun rising. Sometimes it's great to just watch a new day come. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear at my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in warm rays of the heaven's star. In any other place and circumstances, I could probably even say I was happy. Good morning. You're early today. I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. Hey, you're happy again. She was smiling. You too. All of last night's events flashed before my eyes. Listen. This is about yesterday, please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It was all... just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If only it was all that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. She sat down next to me. So close I felt a bit awkward but made no attempt to move away from her. Sometimes I have disputes with Alisa. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why. You know, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame. Or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but I was trying to explain myself like a 5th grader to a teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. If you think so, you should just think about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I have absolutely no idea what's going on here and that everything, to put it mildly, is very unpleasant for me. Could you express yourself any clearer? What for? She said evasively. Look, if I don't know what I did wrong, I can't do better. I can't decide on how to act, as you say. Think you'll understand? I would like to believe that as well, but... Holy fudge, that was loud. The canteen door suddenly flew open, and Olga Dmitrievna came out. Sitting around hungry this early? She said playfully. Good morning. Lena said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. We were not done talking, but pioneers appeared out of nowhere and flooded the place. By the time I got my breakfast, Lena was already sitting, surrounded by Miku, Zenya, and Slavia. Sadly, there were no more free chairs at their table. Feeling down and deliberately not saying hi to anybody, I headed to my favorite place in the far corner of the canteen. I chewed my oatmeal and washed it down with some cold tea. Then I began to watch the others. All the pioneers seemed to be here. Some were chatting, some, like Electronic and Shirk, were immersed in chewing, and some were gawping around, like me. I was just about to leave when Uliana jumped over to my table with her tray heaped with food. Bon appetit, she blurted. Stealing again? I asked, openly staring at her tray. Growing body requires a lot of calories. Yeah, you really should grow up a bit, I whispered. What? I didn't think she heard me. Nothing. I headed out. Leaving so soon? She yelled at my back, disheartened. I gave no answer. I should have taken the washing up stuff back in. I don't want to carry it around all day. Besides, what am I going to do today? Nothing at all came to my mind. I was in such a mood that it seemed like someone was going to show up and invite me on a journey. Huh? I left the camp leader's cabin and paused for a moment, then heard a voice calling out to me. Wait a minute, was that supposed to happen? Oh, okay. I left the camp leader's cabin and paused for a moment, then heard a voice calling out to me. Semyon! It was Slavia. Busy? No. Can you help me? Of course. I don't want to look for answers on a wonderful day like this. A couple dozen hours wouldn't change my situation after all. What is it? You should stop by the Cybernetics Club. I don't know why exactly. They'll tell you everything. The unfortunate inventors again. Alright. Thank you. She gave me a nice smile and ran off. So a journey to the enemy's lair lies ahead of me. To the lair of the evil Dr. Electronic and the diabolic Professor Shirk. And Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I pushed the door firmly and entered. Semyon, Electronic said a bit ominously, glancing up from some contraption he had been poking with a screwdriver. Slavia sent me. I know. And? What? The second door opened and Shirk came in. Semyon? He greeted me in the same tone Electronic had. Well, I was last time I checked. I joked. So what do you need from me? We have an important task for you. I'm listening. The nurse came by yesterday. He stopped, as if he wasn't going to continue. So? I asked carefully. So we have an important mission for you. I got that already. You are to deliver a package to her. Can you do that yourselves? The infirmary is right over there. I said skeptically. We can't, Electronic said, surprised. What a weird couple indeed. I see. Not another heavy bag, I hope. No, nothing like that. He smiled. Alright, fine. I carefully agreed. Hold on. Shirk disappeared through the door and soon came back holding something wrapped in paper. Just be careful. Just be careful. Alright. I took the package. If the pioneers weren't passing me the key to the pearly gates, it still looked like they were at least giving me the Olympic torch. Can I go? Of course, Electronic said threateningly. Just be careful, Shirk pleaded. Outside, I took a good look at the package. They never told me not to open it, although it would make sense to go further on. I quickly walked to the square and, making sure nobody was following, slipped into the forest. I just stood there for a while, indecisive, looking at the package. I wonder, what's in it? Why is it so important for them? Why couldn't they take it themselves? I had a lot of questions. I opened the package and saw a bottle of Stolichnaya vodka. Well, so what? Pioneers bringing a bottle of vodka to the nurse. Or rather, I'm doing it for them. Happens every day. I wrapped the bottle back up and scratched my head. This isn't weird anymore, this is just stupid. So stupid I couldn't think of one intelligent theory. I stood there for a while longer and thought I shouldn't let such a wonderful chance slip away. I quickly walked to the camp leader's cabin. Thank goodness Olga Dmitrievna was not there. I snuck inside and began to rifle through the contents of the table drawer. Soon the vodka was in a soda bottle, while in its place was some water for the plants. Happy with my clever plan, I went out and skipped along the way to the infirmary. Seriously, what is so wrong about that? They almost got me into a trap. The camp leader had seen me. If anyone else had, I could have managed myself. So it was absolutely nothing. I gathered all my strength and knocked on the infirmary door. Hello, Pioneer. Hello, I have a package for you, a bottle for your arm. A package for your cabinet. What the? What? What's wrong with you? I was so euphoric, I began to talk nonsense. What? Ow, my neck. She said. Hand it over. I handed her the package. The nurse stuffed it into the desk drawer without looking. You didn't open it, did you? Of course not. I blurted out. Good boy. Alright, so I'll be... Go, Pioneer. I closed the door behind me and let out a sigh. I could always pin this on the crazy inventors, and in my situation I could really use even the most basic form of stress relief. I came to the square. The clock showed noon. That meant dinner was coming. Alright, I really wanted to read some more, but I'm feeling hella tired right now and my neck really hurts. And I'm losing my voice just a little bit. But hopefully, next episode I'll be able to knock out the bad ending and the good ending. No promises though, cause sometimes it goes on a little long, but we'll see. So until next time, thank you.